Saturday the 18th of January. I've got today off as holiday. I've got next weekend off as holiday. So the only day I'm working for the next fortnight is tomorrow. And I finished working on the allotment plot. So I can now concentrate and do all my efforts on the back garden. I'll also put the weight training on the back burner as well, so I can concentrate on this. One thing I'd like to do, which I only thought about this week, is that I think this is just plywood sort of screwed in, and I reckon I can undo those screws, and then I presume there was like windows there before, and I could replace that with polycarbonate. And it wasn't until I was watching Michael's plot and home garden last night that I realised or found out that you cut polycarbonate with a Stanley knife. I just assumed that you had to saw it. So that shows how little I know about DIY. So that's one thing I might do, but I won't do that for another month, because let's be serious, it'll probably take me a month to move that lot. Now, traditionally, I've had two totally different methods for tidying up the back garden. So the first method would be to move all the stuff from this side to that side, and the second method is to move all the stuff from that side to that side. And because we're concentrating on the polytunnel, we'll be employing the second method. So what I want to concentrate on today is picking up all the plant pots, and I've got myself some sacks. I got these from Pound Stretcher. They were like £1 for some bags. So the garden bags, I think they're like 10 for £1. The blue ones, they're rubble bags, and they're like 7 for £1. So I thought these would be a little bit thicker and sturdier than cheapo black plastic bags which easily tear. Also, I don't like black, so I'll be putting things into there. So I think pots with soil in, I'll put them on this side, and then the empty pots, I'll put them in the sacks and move them down that end. This metal sheet, so it's on top of 4 upturned buckets, which will probably have some slugs hibernating there. I think it originally belonged to a shed, and you'd slot metal racks into there and then store things on the racks. That's what I assume it's for. So that normally lives down the back behind the dilapidated shed, but I use it in the polytunnel to keep plants off the ground so the slugs don't get them. And then in the summer, when the polytunnel is being used, I'll quite often have it here somewhere doing the same thing. And then whenever I want to either flatten some soil, or I want to plant out on a big patch of soil and I don't want to stand on the soil, I'll put that upside down and then stand on that to spread my weight around. So the obvious thing to do, from my point of view, is like this trench. I dug it last year and I had potatoes in, but they didn't grow very well, so I'm not too impressed with roof stout. No, this is extremely curious. This, like I showed you this before a few weeks ago. So first of all, you can see that soil has like come out of there, and it's not been done by a human. That's actually an animal that's done that. And then either one or two different animals, I think they originally dug about a burrow there, and then I think something else from the other side might have also dug in order to get into the burrow. Well, or it could just be one animal just digging twice to try and find something I had buried there, but I don't know what. So what I'm going to try and do with the pots is put the different kinds in the put the same kinds into one bag. So all the red beer cups, they'll all go into one sack, and then all the white plastic cups, they'll go into another, and so on. So you can see that, like, I've got loads of the red ones, and then previously, before I moved things like tomato plants into that, I put them into the white cups. Now you can tell by the amount of red cups that I've got that I must have I must have more white cups. And I think I've got about 5, when they're all stacked on top of each other, I think I've got about 5 feet of those. But I just can't find them. So there's only 3 places they can be. It's either the dilapidated shed, the dark shed with no windows down there, or my bedroom, and I can't find them in any of those. So that'll be something else where I'll be looking for. So next stage after tidying it up, I'll be making this trench bigger. So that's no surprise if you've been watching what I've been doing at the allotment. And then I'll be burying all the weeds in it. So like the old Dalek stuff, like Daleks are useless. So that stuff hasn't really decomposed. Well, I suppose it's partly to do with the stuff that you put in, isn't it? Anything woody that you put in a Dalek just doesn't decompose, or compost. So the plan will be to clear this grass out of the way first, these weeds and the old chard from 2 years ago. Make the trench wider and deeper, bury everything in there, and after that, so that'll make everything look a lot tidier. So after that, we'll be to move on to the brambles. So we're still, although the neighbour seems to tidy their brambles, I've now got to tackle the ones on my side of the fence. So there's a few there, quite small, and then I've got to do the remains of my brambles here, and then at some other stage I'll do the brambles in the neighbour's garden as well, which I have permission to access and do, so long as I take away the brambles with me. So once I've cleared the brambles here, sorted these weeds out, and also especially I need to sort out the bit along the fence, because once a polytunnel cover goes on, it's very difficult to access there. So that's what I mainly need to clear and sort out, is that bit there, because worst comes to the worst, I can always put the polytunnel cover on first, and then do that bit afterwards, and do that bit afterwards. So hopefully well, what I really need to do, I need to have this polytunnel up by Tuesday, because it's going to start showering on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So that would be a fun video. It's always fun trying to put the polytunnel cover up. There isn't much wind for the next few days. It's like quite still. So what I'll do, I'll try and do as much work in this back garden as I can over the next couple of days. And then Tuesday, whatever state I've got to, I'll put the polytunnel cover on regardless. And then on Wednesday, when it's showering, I can start sewing things in the polytunnel. Okay, I'll probably record myself digging the trench, But in the meantime, I'll just get on with tidying up all the plant pots.